Naypyidaw's Empty Roads, unveiling the dark and brutal reality. Naypyidaw, the capital of Myanmar, is infamous for its desolate and deserted roads, earning it the reputation of having the world's emptiest road. However, beyond the eerie emptiness lies a dark and brutal reality that reveals the political turmoil and human rights abuses faced by the country. This video explores the circumstances surrounding Naypyidaw's empty roads, shedding light on Myanmar's oppressive regime, the military junta, and the struggles of its people. Established as the capital in 2005, Naypyidaw was intended to be a grand and modern city, signaling a shift in power away from the former capital Yangon. The military junta envisioned a metropolis with wide boulevards and state-of-the-art infrastructure. The construction of expansive roads was meant to accommodate bustling traffic. However, the reality that unfolded was far from their expectations. Naypyidaw's emptiness serves as a visual representation of the country's political climate. The ruling military regime, known as the Tatmadaw, has tightly controlled Myanmar for decades, repressing dissent and violating human rights. The emptiness of the roads signifies the isolation and detachment between the ruling elite and the general population, while the military leaders reside in opulent compounds and government buildings. The majority of Myanmar's citizens face poverty, limited access to basic services, and political oppression. The emptiness of Naypyidaw's roads is not merely a consequence of urban planning, it's a result of the political struggle in Myanmar. The country has witnessed numerous protests and civil unrest, particularly in response to the military coup in February 2021. The regime's brutal crackdown on dissent has led to a series of human rights abuses, including extrajudicial killings, arbitrary arrests, and forced disappearances. The empty roads now stand as a haunting symbol of the regime's iron grip on power and the suffering endured by the people. The dark reality behind Naypyidaw's empty roads extends to the broader humanitarian crisis in Myanmar. The ongoing political turmoil has exacerbated the country's already dire socio-economic conditions, with millions facing food shortages, displacement, and inadequate access to healthcare. The international community has expressed grave concern over the situation, calling for an end to the violence and restoration of democratic processes. The emptiness of the roads serves as a visible symbol of the regime's iron grip on the country. It reflects the isolation and disconnect between the ruling elite and the general population. While the military leaders reside in lavish compounds and government buildings, the majority of Myanmar's citizens struggle with poverty, limited access to basic services, and political oppression. Countries, human rights organizations, and individuals around the world have expressed concern and condemnation over the oppressive regime in Myanmar and the human rights abuses inflicted upon its people. Many countries have issued statements condemning the military junta's actions and have implemented diplomatic pressure, including imposing targeted sanctions on key military officials and entities involved in the human rights violations. These measures are intended to exert pressure on the regime to respect human rights, restore democracy, and engage in dialogue with the opposition. Global institutions such as the United Nations, the European Union, and regional bodies like the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, have been actively engaged in diplomatic efforts to address the situation. They have called for an end to violence, the release of political prisoners, and the initiation of an inclusive and genuine political transition. The international community has extended support to civil society organizations and activists within Myanmar who are working tirelessly to document human rights abuses, provide humanitarian aid, and advocate for democratic reforms. Funding, resources, and platforms for raising awareness have been channeled towards these efforts. The ongoing turmoil has led to a significant number of people fleeing Myanmar and seeking refuge in neighboring countries. As for the future of Naypyidaw's empty roads, it is uncertain. The road's emptiness is a visible symbol of the current political situation and the struggles faced by the people of Myanmar. The future of the road depends on the broader political developments in Myanmar and the realization of a more just and democratic society.